We are indebted to Mr. Denver W. Bittner of Zion Lutheran Church this evening for the invocation and the benediction. Tonight's graduation is being recorded by Rockford Cablevision and will be televised in full this Wednesday at 3 p.m. and again this Thursday at 9 p.m. That's Wednesday at 3 and Thursday at 9 on Rockford Cablevision Channel 7. Our first address of the evening is the salutatory address. It will be given by Miss Deborah Straminger, who is our salutatorian of this graduation class, and the title of her speech is Our Time. Miss Straminger.
Today is our last day. All the preparations and the breakfast and the dances and all the rehearsals, they all end today. Even the minute we leave this building, some of our titles are going to change. We won't be seniors anymore, and we'll be alumni then, and even for some people we won't be children anymore, we'll be young adults. It's kind of funny, whenever you mention it to someone that you're graduating, they say, well, you must be glad you're getting out, and you kind of smile and you say, yeah, but when you really sit and think about it, and all the people that you've known, and all the places that you've seen, and all those memories start to come back into your head, the hardest thing in the world to do is to say goodbye. And especially to the people, those very special people, who, when we were sinking, who helped us to laugh when we were ready to cry, who teased us when we were grouchy, and who loved us when we thought no one did. We'll sit here and we'll think of how many people would want to be in our places right now. Everything is ahead of us. The only thing that's behind us is our growth. In everything we do, we grow. Not only a little bit older, but a little bit wiser. And to really understand that wisdom, we have to take time to really sit and look at it. But there are too many people who go a little bit too fast, and they talk a little bit too loud, and maybe get mad a little bit too often. And sometimes they just don't take that little extra time to care. But if we take that time to care and to try to understand and to listen, and to slow down enough to see, well, there just aren't enough people like that. So I think today we have to kind of decide what kind of a person we're going to be. And we might not even know we're deciding, really. Society might lead us into some portion of life that we don't really want and we feel trapped in. So that maybe the mistakes of other people and other generations, they have to kind of guide us a little bit, but we still have to feel our own way. Even like our class motto says, no bird soars too high if he soars with his own wings. So this is our time to share our feelings, our time to reflect a little bit, time to try to understand, and a time to say thank you. Our time has come to shine. All our dreams are on their way. Thank you.
The final address of the evening will be given by our valedictorian, Mr. Michael Gutowski, and the title of his address this evening is All Yesterday's Bright Fools. Mr. Gutowski.
You should see how you look from up here, like two giant thermometers. It can be put simply. In 1976, we're puzzled, we're confused. We're justifiably proud of our country, proud of those people who began and sustained this nation, proud of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. But we're not so proud of our current government, which was conceived in those documents, nor are we proud about inflation, unemployment, our foreign policy, our dependence on oil. And the whole thing is complicated by those gentlemen who want us to elect them president, because each one of those gentlemen has his own solution to all those problems, as well as policies and programs of his own. But there seems to be a growing sentiment. Can we do anything? Can we solve these problems? Are there solutions? We've been trying for years. Civilized man has been trying for years to solve them, and we still have them. We've had to realize, as civilizations before us have had to realize, that what we thought would work, what we were told would work, didn't. The experts were wrong. The best and brightest of yesterday had become yesterday's fools. It's a historical truism that the words of philosophers, scientists, and authors have been used to ends to which those words were never intended. Karl Marx wouldn't recognize and probably couldn't even condone the Marxism of today. And it's also probably true that Jefferson and Franklin wouldn't know today's America. But it's just as true that time has proven those to whom we look for guidance were wrong. History shows that tremendous predictions were made about the telephone, phonograph, the radio, television, satellite. Each of these things was going to end human ignorance, prejudice, and war. But none of them did. Perhaps the reason why the experts are so often wrong, and why all of us are so often wrong, is our inability to perceive. Even things which seem simple can have more nuance and depth than things which seem complex. Or perhaps it's that when we're confronted with a problem, we look to the wrong people for the solution. The institutions of our society as currently run simply aren't equipped to deal with the situations given them. We look for government regulation to substitute for our personal neglect of prejudice, poverty, and ignorance. Or perhaps to really solve a problem, it's necessary to perceive and understand more about that problem than time will allow us to perceive and understand. I'm not here to suggest that we should continue to try and solve our problems, economic, domestic, or philosophical, through traditional means, nor do I suggest that we can't solve them, that we can only let them be, or that we just ignore them and try to measure our success and our happiness by yardsticks other than the ones we're using now. But I would like to suggest this. We must strive to be aware of all the alternatives open to us, that we should examine what people before us have done and what the results were, and most important, that our own best and brightest, of which all of us are in some way a part, must strive to prevent from being misunderstood, ignored, or manipulated. And that even if we cannot understand something completely, we should understand all that we can, because we learn more about ourselves through the study of things outside us. And that our best and brightest will not find themselves as the best and brightest of the past have found themselves, as the fools of yesterday. Thank you.
Now for the high point of the evening. To you, ladies and gentlemen, to members of our Board of Education, Dr. Harold Sieber, Mrs. Dolores Nilsson, and Mr. David Peterson, to the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Arthur Johnson, and most of all, to you, Mom and Dads, I present to you the Jefferson High School class of 1976.
Janetta Elaine Accord. Timothy Dale Adams. Vicky Renee Adkins. William O. Acree. Daniel Richard Allen. Jane Marie Anderson. Terry Leigh Anson. Elaine Ann Armstrong. Astrid K. Arnold. Reva Diane Ashcraft. Susan Marie Bakke. Judy Lynn Baker. Cheryl Diane Baldridge. Karen Janice Ball, absent. Kimberly Frost Banks, absent. David D. Barber. Christy Lynn Barney. Joyce Elaine Bass. Terry Baxter. Brenda Marie Beard. Charles Richard Beck. Terry Lynn Beck. Thomas Henry Bedurka. Brenda K. Beeler. Sandra J. Belknap. Tony Lynette Bell. Gregory J. Bennett. Regina Hall Bennett. Ronald E. Burkheimer. Rick Joe Berry. William Allen Blasco. Jane Marilyn Blum. Doyen Keith Bogard. Pamela D. Bolar, absent. James Bruno Bolzak. Vernon James Borcherts. John Carl Bosley, absent. Albert Bossart V. Steve Box. Gail Lynn Bozarth. Stephen D. Bracken, absent. Jerry Lee Brady. Evelyn Sue Brewer. Penelope Lynn Bricky. Linda Sue Brink. Timothy Joe Brogdon, absent. Mary Lou Brooks. Gregory Owen Brown. Michael Allen Buchert. Deborah Jean Buckart. Thomas A. Bunk. Brian S. Bursell. Laura J. Bushaw. Steve Marshall Campbell. Constance Jean Campobello. Jeffrey T. Carlton. Judith Marie Carlson. Janetta K. Carter. Marcy L. Case. Kathleen Marie Castle. Joanne Elizabeth Savine. Matthew Alex Clark. Ronald D. Clark. Denise Lynn Cody. David L. Cochran. Eric King Collins. Lori Eva Collins. Cynthia Deanne Comer, absent. Carol J. Condon. Samuel Michael Capoletti, class president. Mark Richard Coirassi. Bruce Davis Crane. Alice Gail Crawford. Robert James Crowell. Valerie Lynn D'Antone. Constance Ann Doherty. Terry Jean Davis. Daniel V. DeLange. Sally Lynn Dilloney. John D. DeMarb. Linda R. Deming. Karen Sue DeShane. Thomas Frederick DeVlieger. Julie Ann DiGiuseppe. Tracy Ann Dill. Cynthia K. Dittman. Roger Michael James Donovan. Susan Ruth Dornbush. Donna Lorraine Downing. Howard Lee Duff. Becky Susan DuSavage. David Bernard Zeke. Mark R. Eads. Mary Lynette Ernest. James E. Erbely. Phyllis Maureen Edgecombe. William Charles Edelman. Torrance Patrick Edwards. Lenore M. Ellison. Sandra Elaine Ellison. Marcella Dana Erickson. Robert Carl Erlandson.
James E. Farrell. Cameron L. Finks. Gregory Dale Fitzgerald. Anita Irene Fossey. Julie Ann Foster. Robert W. Fox. Julie Ann Franson. Donald Ray Freeman. Pearlie Mae Fricks. Gary Lee Fritchen. Frank Fuca. Tamara L. Fuller, absent. Peggy Marie Fermanek. Marilinda Lee Garner. Donald Clarence Gash, Jr. David Michael Giorgetti. Kathleen Jo Gisler. Julie A. Glasser. Kimberly Ann Grass. Judy Lynn Grabunder. Dale Robert Greer. Michelle Marie Gregory. David Brian Gonzalez. Scott Aaron Gustafson, absent. Michael T. Gutowski, valedictorian. Robin Denise Hale. Roger Paul Hamilton. Rebecca Ann Hancock. James Wallace Hanson. Mark A. Harmon, absent. Robert Frederick Harris. Shane Lyle Harris. Diana Sue Harvey. Frank Allen Harwath. David W. Hazelow. Kathleen Ann Heaslip. Keith Lawrence Heimer. Frank Lee Hempstead. Dennis M. Hendricks. Cheryl Lynn Henry. Marietta Jean Henry. William Howard Hession. Carrie G. Hill. Curtis Scott Heinrichs. Patricia Jo Heinrichs. Jacqueline Lee Holinka. Flint K. Hollis. Susan Marie Holman. John R. Homer, Jr. Stephen D. Hughes. Patty Jean Hugo. Christina Marie Witsakwa. Jeffrey Scott Jenks. Deborah K. Johnson. Jody Ann Johnson. Kathleen M. Johnson. Larry A. Johnson. Mark L. Johnson. Ronald Lee Johnson. Scott Thomas Johnson. Stephen Edward Johnson. Todd O. Johnson. Tracy Lynn Johnson. Vicki Lynn Johnson. Dolores Jean Jones. Granville L. Jones, absent. Jeffrey L. Jones. Mark Kevin Kaler. Roberta Lynn Keene. Joyce Alta Garland Kesey. Carrie L. Curley. Pamela J. King. Paula Denise King. Diane Susan Kinroth. Jeanette Ann Kleeman. Anna M. Klump. Bruce Lon Kubishka. Kimberly Ann Kopelke. Carol Ann Cora. Louise Mary Korleski. Lori A. Chris. Thomas W. LaFontaine. Shelley R. LaLiberty. Robert A. Lapp. Patricia Ann Larson. Susan Marie Larson. David R. Larson. Rebecca Jean Larson. Russell Allen Larson. Sandra Louise Lattin. Charles Randall Laugus. Tammy S. Lawrence. Lisa K. Lang, Class Treasurer. Deanna Marie Leach. Pamela Lee Leach. Christopher Lee. Bruce E. Leake. Harriet Lemish, absent. William Bentley Leonard. Tina K. Letzinger. Catherine Marie Levings, absent.
Ronald James Leviscus. Rita Levon Lewis. James Scott Leafcott. Scott L. Lightcap. Deborah Marie Lindenmeyer. John R. Lindstrom. Linda Carol Lips. David Howard Lockett. Kimberly Jean Lochner, absent. Kevin W. Love. Karen Jean Lowe. J. Allen Lundquist. Carrie Lynn Lundquist. Deborah Sue Lynch. Absent. Tambra Lynn Lyons. Linda Diane Maffioli. Barbara L. Mahan. Julie Ann Melivolti. Sharon L. Maples. Stephen James Martin. Patrick L. Martineau. Michelle Lynn Massengill. Wendell Lee Maynard. Maria Lee Mazanowicz. Dwayne Allen McAllister. Kathy L. McCartney. Jerry Edward McCullough. Calvin Clay McEllier. James A. McMahon. Dean Everett McMullen. Deborah Joy McVeigh, Class Secretary. Audrey Reen Meadows. Donald Ray Meadows. Roy E. Metcalf. Curtis William Meverden. Mark William Myers. Mark Douglas Mickle. Daniel L. Miller. Ronnie J. Miller. Bernal Minnick. Sandra Lynn Southworth Montoya, absent. Laverne Moore, absent. Gerald Russell Moores. John Mark Moran. Lori Lynn Morgan. Keith Patrick Morris, absent. Richard Charles Morton. Susan K. Moyer. William Andrew Mullen. Beth Ann Muma. Jerry Bob Myers. Lori Althea Myers. Gordon D. Nelson. Janice Ann Nelson. Sharon Ann Nelson. Mary Jean Neschheim. Jerry William Nichols. Stephen L. Neiswanger. Mark D. Norman. Deborah Elizabeth Norris. Karen Elaine Nosianen. Roger Daniel Ogren. Mary Jean O'Hare. Mark Thomas Olson. Deborah Ann Parham. Gerald K. Parker. Linda Sue Parker. Todd Allen Parker. Timothy Wayne Parrish. Vanessa Jean Pascal. Patricia Ann Patterson. Lola Margaret Peebles. Vicki Spain Peak. Janet Lynn Peel. Pamela Lee Powell. Edward Charles Perry. Keith C. Perry. Lise Ann Peterson. Nancy Lynn Peterson. Tammy Sue Peterson. Wade Cameron Potter. James Henry Powell. Mark Lawrence Precioso. Jack E. Puckett. Rosemarie Putnam. Tammy Lynn Quam. Lennis S. Quisberg.
Arthur E. Race. Stephen Lee Ron. Scott Allen Redfield. Stephen P. Riley, absent. Michael Richard Risen, absent. Dane Martin Resch. Harry Allen Rhodes. Peter William Rhodes. Janice Lee Riverdall, absent. Randy Thomas Roberson. Ricky L. Roberts. George Stephen Rodak. Kathleen L. Roden. Joseph Michael Rose. Sherry Denise Rausch. Jacqueline K. Roy. Kim Marie Rundberg. Donna Mae Rundblade. Scott Walter Rundgren. Patricia Ann Salbago. William J. Sanford Jr. Pamela Sue Sardenga. Sergeant Stephen Wayne Sassman. Kathy Lynn Scamahorn. Martina Elizabeth Charay. Dan Goodwin Schlittler. Moving right along, Michael A. Schmerzy. Andrew Joseph Schmidt. Lori R. Schmidt. Cheryl Marie Schwab. David Allen Scott. Jamie J. Scott. Jody Lynn C. Jill Diane Selgren. Beverly Jean Sellers. Patricia Ann Shepard. Robert Lee Shuga Jr. Brenda Louise Smith. Douglas Oakley Smith. Karen Lynn Smith. Rick L. Smith. Robin Carey Smith. Class Vice President Stephen Thomas Smith. Marlene Denise Soderberg. Colleen L. Summers, absent. John Edward Stanton. Barbara Louise Stauber. Howard John Stetter III. Neil James Steinauer. Gregory Raymond Stewart. William Michael Steiger. Michael James Stittelberg. Kathy Sue St. John. Belinda Jane Story. Robert Levi Strauss. Kimberly Sue Stroman. Deborah L. Strominger. Leon Strong, absent. Michael D. Sullivan. Albert W. Swan. Barbara Elaine Taylor. Diane Elizabeth Thill. Leslie Donald Thomas. Brian Allen Thompson. James Lee Thompson. John H. Thoreau. Carol Ann Teffer. Judith Mae Tompkins. Brian Tom John Trenholm. Lynn K. Trost. Barbara Ann Trilong. Bradley Allen Trilong. Rhonda Regine Turner. Susan Dawn Turner. David Garth Tula. Nancy Jennifer Vaccaro. Lorinda Gay Vogan. Kevin Joe Walsh. Verice Louise Walston. Carol A. Winegren. Karen Sue Wentz. Merritt Thomas Westlake. Barbara Joyce Wheatley. Randall L. Willard. Irena Ann Wilson. Mary Wojtowicz. Joanne L. Woodworth. Terry Dale Wyatt. Stephen James Young. Joseph S. Zamowski. Stephanie Louise Zeb. Susan D. Zip.
Sam, right? At this time, I would like all the graduates to please rise and follow me.
so that the mailing material should be the same and used in the same way, and not have each individual school make up their own mind whether they're going to send it home by the kids. The mailing should go out at the same time, and so forth. A reasonable allocation of the mailing cost between the insurance company and the school district should be worked out, and a minimum involvement by school administrators in the processing or service of these claims. Now, those are the things that occurred to me that we would be concerned.
Just a minute. I was going to say, with this being a voluntary plan, I wonder how many do take out this insurance, realizing that insurance plans are so well covered family-wise throughout most of the area. Perhaps there are not some that are covered. And I wonder if by having a voluntary plan of this nature that a lot of people perhaps take out insurance and pay for it when they are covered, and both companies are certainly not going to pay for claims. I wonder if we cut it out completely, would we hurt school children, would we hurt people in the school district if we did not handle this particular type of insurance? Now, you have to remember this insurance covers the child. Now, if it's any liability in the school district, our insurance takes care of it, right?
Well, no, here's where this comes in. We do have liability insurance, of course, but that is only where the school, either the school personnel or the school facility is negligent. Suppose we had a facility, a dangerous condition, and someone is injured, we could well be responsible. Or if one of our administrators is negligent and injures someone, our insurance covers it. But this, I would say, that kind of thing is not very often. Usually what you're talking about is a child that's injured on his way to school, falls down, breaks an arm or something. That needs to be covered. If the medical expenses on that, would not be able to charge us for, except through either they could charge their insurance if they had this voluntary insurance, or, as you've pointed out, certainly most wage earners have a policy having medical insurance connected with their employment. And if they have that, they probably